It's time for another episode of The Oil Stream with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola, presented by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen.
Happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of The Oil Stream, brought to you by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen, now open in St. Albert, home of the delicious Popeye's chicken sandwich and the juicy yet crunchy, scrumdiddlyumptious chicken nuggets. Now over a dozen locations, obviously, with the new one in St. Albert, that one in Windermere that opened a few months ago, and they provided some delicious Popeyes on deadline day at 12:60 after I left. That was a real buzzkill.
Yeah, and it was so good. I mean, there was a ton of chicken there. Even Mariah from Virgin did a quick Instagram story because she went and stole some of our tenders, which is, A-okay. We love those guys at Virgin and the Bear. They're great. And so I'll tell you what, there was a lot of blackened chicken dips available, and I indulged.
Did you take any home? Did you sneak any home? That's the real question.
Yeah, the blackened chicken ranch, I should clarify. I did not. Actually, we had pizza before that too.
Yes, I got a couple slices of that.
And good on Jeff Walker for doing the order and all of that.
Shout out to Jeff Walker. Somebody's got to order the pizza, man.
Yeah. Well, he's a foodie when it comes to pizza, tacos, donairs, and any fast food. He knows what he's talking about. So we put it all in Jeff's reliable hands, and I ended up taking a couple slices home just for pregame bite to eat that day because there was so much food.
Perfect. That's the one nice thing. It's like deadline day, everybody's well fed. We're all on the air for 6 or 4 hours. It's a long day, but it was a good day. There's no doubt about that. We had that special episode on Monday afternoon. If you are just watching this one and you don't know, we did drop an episode on Monday, so make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Just search The Oil Stream on all your podcasting platforms. A few different things to discuss, Tommy. Right off the top, and we'll get to a possible pending return here of Nuge and Hopkins and how that might fit in, and the new guys who dress almost exactly the same. Did you see that picture that the Oilers put up of them on Twitter today? They're both wearing like greenish pants and like grayish sweaters. Like it looks like they coordinated their outfits. It was kind of funny.
Can I say something about hockey players? Like,
yeah,
it's like monkey see, monkey do, okay? One guy wears and tries something, and then they all are like, oh, that looks good. I'll do the same thing. And they all wear the same. They have like a rotation of 4 different things. Now on game day, we're seeing some great suits that these guys are busting out, which is fantastic to see. Nice to see them wearing suits again to games. Very professional. I like what Patrick Laine is doing. I much prefer what Patrick Laine is doing compared to what Austin Matthews would wear. I thought Austin Matthews' looks were terrible. And he's got, I think deep down, he's got better style than that. But Laine, hilarious what he's doing, the slicked skullet that's coming in nicely for him. Oh, he's just fully embraced it. But when the guys, like the two new guys dress similarly, it's like, yeah, they all go and get like special offers from the same stores. I remember we had Kit and Ace come to the Oilers one year, and we got like this, everybody got like a ridiculous deal, and they had like a special sale for the players. They all ordered the same things. Like, not only was the options limited, but they all got the same stuff. And guess what? They all look like twins and triplets and quadruplets because they all ordered the same stuff and they just wear the same thing every day, basically.
Speaking of wearing stuff, show me your shirt.
Thank you. Good segue. Spring training is upon us, and nice throwback to one of the best, the Edmonton Trappers. I really miss those games, although there's going to be baseball down at Remax Field, which is fantastic.
All right, Tommy, let's get into it. You had the post-game, pre-game yesterday. I'm sure the post-game was straight fire last night. What was the hot topic, and in your opinion, what was the big storyline coming out of that game for the Oilers?
For me, the hot topic and the storyline should be self-inflicted wounds and then the continued lack of success on special teams. I know that the Oilers strung together a bunch of games scoring on the power play, but you didn't do it at the right time yesterday. Yeah. You didn't do it at all yesterday, first of all. And you had a great opportunity with less than 10 minutes to go, and the Oilers couldn't even get any momentum. I don't even think they got a shot, maybe one shot on that last power play. And then the PK is just so leaky. Good for the Oilers getting a shorthanded goal. I like Jay Woodcroft's strategy of attacking on the PK with Kane and McDavid, it paid off. That was a great play, good gamble, and it really did pay off. But to me, the special teams is a major issue. But we're going to get to this right away because it's on our list.
Yeah.
Darnell Nurse was taking mega heat. I don't know if that shocks you or not. I'm sure it carried over into the Smash Hit Nielsen show this morning. But, man, people were just tearing him a new one.
Two things that jumped off the page to me this morning, just with the reaction from people. Power play had a lot of people pissed off. And yeah, you're right. I mean, they've scored. They had that stretch where they scored in game, but they haven't had a 3-for-5 night, or like they haven't been anywhere close to what it once was, I guess, at the beginning of the season for quite some time, right? So that was one. And then obviously Darnell Nurse was taking a ton of heat. And I thought last night it was justified. Somebody did point out that a few of the analytics show that he's been playing as a top 10 D-man in the league all season. And I was just like, it's good to see those numbers. Like that's a positive for the people who view the numbers side of it. Yeah. And then you got the eye test side of it as well. I think, like it is with most of these things, it probably falls somewhere in the middle where he hasn't been a top 10 D-man in my opinion this season. Sure. But I've also got some people. I had somebody say, yeah, when Kulak's ready, you can sit Nurse for a game and he can get his game back on track. I'm like, come on, guys. But Nurse, look, you got to call a spade a spade. We'll criticize the goaltending when they deserve to be called out. Darnell Nurse was not good last night. Darnell Nurse was one of the top 2 or 3 reasons they lost the hockey game last night. He's their number one defenseman. He gets paid like a top-end defenseman now. Next year, he's going to be getting paid like a number one D-man, and there'll be even more pressure on him to perform. But if the Oilers are going to go somewhere in a playoff series, Darnell Nurse might be able to get away with one of those games in a series, maybe one of them, but no more than one, Tommy. Like, he's got to dial that in.
I would preferably not like to see a game like that in a playoff series because what if it's an elimination game and your best defenseman's playing his worst game? That's a problem. The best guys find consistency at an elite level, and maybe he gets to that point. People are going to scoff at that, but this is the team's best defenseman. He is a highly valued defenseman across the National Hockey League. He proved his worth last season. He's put together a few good seasons now, and maybe he is feeding or feeling the weight of that new contract that's about to kick in next season. I suppose if you want to look on the bright side, it's good to get it out of the way now, where next year he doesn't feel that burden, even though the money is going to be rolling in almost twice as much as what he's getting now. But yeah, he needed to be better. Last night, the way he sprawled out on that go-ahead goal from Gurianov, I know it was a great play by Tyler Seguin, but
Nurse still left him about 2.5 feet before he got to the net. It's not like Seguin had to feather that pass over top of him or through a space the size of a puck.
And asking Cass last night, Maddie said, it's okay to go down and slide backwards on a 2-on-1, but you need an angle. Like, Nurse went straight back instead of kind of towards
the puck carrier, right? Like that's where you want to go. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where the issue was. And it did leave that 2 feet of space, and Seguin played it perfectly, but he's an elite player, has been for a long time. He'll make those plays. And that's where the error was. And on that go ahead goal too, Dusty, like, I don't know what Cody Ceci was doing with the soft chip in the neutral zone. Get that puck in, right? Like, get it in. You got a guy who's static along the boards 3 feet away from you, trying to chip it to him. Why? I don't understand.
Tying goal was a weird one too. Like, that's a self-inflicted situation because that was essentially a 2-on-4. And you somehow opened it up right down the gut. Like, talking about it with Rashog this morning, and he said, well, kind of put it on the 2 forwards for having some soft coverage at the blue line, and Darnell Nurse maybe thinking he needed to go over. And I said, well, he didn't need to go over. He knows Cece's right there if they come in on that side anyway. Like, it almost seemed like a brain cramp for 1 second, and it just happened to be that 1 second that there was no other support, and boom, Rupe Hintz is gone right up the gut. Like, that one almost looked worse to me because it was, I mean, they should have had that taken care of. They had the guys back. They just completely botched it.
Yeah, I know it. And I know Rupe Hintz, he wound it up from his own zone, and he attacked with speed. They timed that perfectly. Great play by the Stars. But you're right. It was essentially a 2-on-4. It made Yamamoto look silly when he was all twisted up and fell down. And then on top of that, you had the overcommitment on the one side. and all of a sudden there's a seam at full speed, and he just attacked it. And he's been having a great year. He made a nice move on Koskinen. That's a goal.
Now, with all of this being said, and I understand the passion of the fans, and it's different than us in the media, or even some in the media who might be more gung-ho for the team than others, or like, and I've been in this spot. Detroit Lions, not so much, because I've just given up that they're horrible. But like with LeBron James, like, I get it. I live and die with every game. And for Oilers fans, I understand that they live and die with every game, but like, you're not going to win every single game. Like, they'd won 5 in a row. They went on the road. They played a very good game against Colorado. They probably deserved a better fate. I like a point in that game when you played really well and a helmet got taken off and a guy couldn't find the puck in his skates, and all of a sudden McDavid has to play a 2-on-1. And I mean, he could have just pulled the Darnell nurse and laid down and forced the issue a little bit more, but whatever. I just like, I didn't view last night, second half of a back-to-back, played a good game the night before, played a good game for the first 25 minutes, and then, a goal kind of changes everything there. Still pushed back, got the lead again, and then let it slip away. Like, I didn't view last night as dire straits as a lot of people did reaction-wise. And I get it why they do. And I'm not saying don't have that passion. I'm just saying last night wasn't the end of the world.
It's not. I think, especially on the post-game show, in that first segment, people were spitting fire. Hernan busted out the Latino Heat. Like, he tore them a new one. And I feel like where that came from was riding the waves in that third period, because it was all over the place. And in the blink of an eye, a couple of times, you had these incredible lead changes, and you're like, what just happened? I think that's what got people fired up, because by the second and third segment, judging by the responses coming in, I got into it with one guy that was calling me an effing dummy and calling me an arrogant this and that. I thought that was great. And then by the end of it, we were all just like, oh, water under the bridge. Sorry, we're all fired up.
Yeah.
And I think that is a good example of just how the emotions went all over the place last night in a short window of time. And you're right. It's not the be-all, end-all. It's a loss in Dallas. Dallas is hungry. They're chasing. That part of it sucks. But you look at the bright side. Vegas lost again. They got blanked by Winnipeg. Yeah, I know LA won, but guess what? You're going to play against the Pacific Division teams that you've played very well against this season. 13-4, the Oilers record is against Pacific Division teams. So just dust yourself off. You played some good hockey leading into Thursday's game. Yes, the results sucked yesterday, but you got the Sharks coming to town. Get those 2 points. I know they played good and beat Calgary, but who cares? Go and beat them.
You get the Sharks, you get a Battle of Alberta that should be an amazing game no matter what. You get the Coyotes, and then a huge game against the Kings. Like, I like it. A game that, is winnable, a game that's a great measuring stick, a game that's winnable, and a game that you got to have. Like, I like the way that these 4 games set up for them, for sure. I think it's going to be an interesting little run. Now, let's get to your Ken Morrison Remax question of the day, brought to you by our friend Ken Morrison. Give him a call, 780-993-4815. If you're buying or selling, he is your guy. Also, if you're like, but does he have a website? He does. www.kenrmorrison.com, and he's a Remax Hall of Famer. Tommy, what's the question, bud?
But does he have a website?
Well, maybe somebody was wondering, right? That's how I would imagine
exactly.
Somebody wonders about a website. Yeah.
That's their inner monologue.
Yeah.
All right. The Ken Morrison Remax Excellence question of the day is this. You see it on the side there on our list. The new guys arrive dressing the same, evidently. However, Dusty, I want to ask you, which one of them has a more profound impact on this team? And which one of them has an impact right away as opposed to the other? Or do they both?
I'm going to go. This is a good question, buddy. I've done like 2 days of content on the show and on podcasts. Hadn't even thought of this. Which one has the bigger impact? I like that. I'll go Kulak. I think I'm going to go Kulak. Both immediate impacts and long-term impact. And I think the reason I'm going this way is because I'm not 100% sure where Brassard fits in. Like, I know he's going to fit in. I just don't know where yet. I think it's pretty clear where Kulak's gonna kind of settle in. And I think there's a little bit of upside as opposed to just a third pairing Like, this is not sneaking in Willie Legason for 13 minutes or giving Broberg 12 minutes or dressing 7 and Kulak gets 11 minutes. Like, I think Kulak is capable of giving you 18. And if that means Kulak has to play more than Duncan Keith some nights, like, I don't think it's out of the question that Brett Kulak is a better defenseman than Duncan Keith 3 weeks from now. Like, I think it's certainly a conversation, and it's something that I'm going to follow. So I'm going to say Kulak immediately. Kulak long-term, with long-term being, up until the playoffs and into the playoffs. Nothing against Brassard. I have to see it, and I have to see where he fits in.
I like that. With Kulak, I'm going to agree with you. I think long-term overall, more of an impact. And then for some reason, I think that Brassard, wherever he slots in for the first game or two, has a bit of a spark and just he knows how to adjust to new teams. This being his 10th franchise in the National Hockey League now. So I feel like he might chip in with a goal here or an assist there and just some solid faceoffs or something. Just good play and adding to the Oilers offense. So I think immediately I just have this feeling that for the first game or two, you might see more, or Brassard catches your eye more. And then overall, over the course of the time they are here in Edmonton, I think it will be Brett Kulak. And then could Brett Kulak maybe be like a Dan Hamhuis type for the Oilers, if you will? Not necessarily a offensive guy, but just steady, reliable. You could throw him out there. No worries, right?
Nice Danny Hamhuis reference.
Dan Hamhuis was a good defenseman for a long time, but there was nothing about his game. And you're like, damn, did you see Dan Hamhuis today? No, it was just like, hey, Hamhuis played good. Didn't get scored on for like 8 straight games.
Yeah. Could Kulak become that guy? Be great if he did. It'd be great if he did, and see how they use him in different situations. That's your Ken Morrison Remax question of the day. Who's going to have the bigger impact, Kulak or Brassard? And we can kind of take the Brassard conversation and continue here with the return of Nuge. Was it Ken Holland that said there's a chance he returns on Thursday? Is that what they're thinking? Okay.
Possibly. We'll find out tomorrow, right? They're not.
Not today. No practice today, right? So, with Nuge and Hopkins coming back, what do you think who do you think's on the Nuge line, Tommy?
With the Nuge, listen, all due respect to Devon Shore and the way he's been playing, but I would still just put Nuge back into the third line center hole. And then I would go with Fogle and Cassian.
Okay.
And then I would keep Ryan with Shore. And then who do you have? And then
then you got Brassard.
Yeah. So I think that's a step up. You might.
But then we don't have McLeod anywhere. You got to have McLeod in there somewhere,
right? So maybe you
and Archibald at home.
I know, and I was just going to say Archibald too. So like, here's that level of competition for roster spots and playing time. You might just.
What do you do? Yeah, you're going to have a couple forwards out of the lineup that you wouldn't really expect, I think.
You might just bump out Shore, and then do you really want Archibald in there right away again? I think
they would. They were 4-0 with him in the lineup, right? So
he was good, and maybe he helps the PK a little bit, although PK is such a lost cause. Yeah, you got some. Derek Ryan's kind of Archibald.
If you're watching right now, or you're hitting us up on the podcast, feel free to tweet at us. What's this? What's the line? That's gonna be a great topic for the show tomorrow morning too. Like, who's the odd man out with Brassard and Nuge coming back? Who are the odd men out? Because like, they don't scratch McLeod, right?
I don't think so. And I brought it up. I don't know what show I brought it up, but what if in his game, like, he continues to transport the puck, but like, I feel like his game might fade as the games get tougher and we get into the postseason, where you might actually look at it and go, could we scratch McLeod? I don't personally like it, but I think that might become a topic of conversation. I don't necessarily think it's going to happen either, but you might float that idea, because it's like, well, what's his impact? What is his impact?
I wonder if they would go Fogle, Nuge, Puljujärvi, and then put McLeod up with Draisaitl and Hyman. And
That's
then
possible.
Because what was it the line before Nuge got hurt? It was Nuge, Ryan, and Fogle, right? Was that the line? Remember, they were producing a little bit.
Did Cassian get a look up there too?
I don't know, because I'm thinking if they want to slide McLeod back up there, they could go Fogle, Nuge, and Puljujärvi, and then your fourth line would be Brassard with some combination of Archibald, Cassian, Shore, essentially, and Derek Ryan's still there too. So I don't know.
Yeah. I like the idea of putting McLeod on the left side on that second line too, sliding Hyman over to the right side, moving Puljujärvi down.
That Puljujärvi push with Nuge.
Yeah.
Huh. It's weird. I don't know if in 12 years I've ever had a conversation about Oilers forward group where I'm like, oh, he's going to be out, but I kind of think he should be in. So,
Yeah. And I bring up the McLeod one because I'm like, he's developing, he's taking strides, but it's getting down to crunch time, and he hasn't had a lot of impact on the games lately, has he? So, but I don't like the idea of taking him out. I'm just
I don't know if I like the idea of taking him out, but I wonder if they settle in the playoffs. It's an interesting point with a veteran bottom six. And he kind of becomes the floater. If somebody gets hurt in the top six, he slides in and plays up there or something. Which isn't ideal. I know people would totally be opposed to it, but I'm just trying to think of where they fit in. All these guys, especially when they're playing in Alberta, and Archibald can play too. So
exactly.
Yeah, interesting.
What a conundrum.
This is very strange, Tommy. This is weird. All right, that's going to do it for another episode of the Oil Stream. I'll be back on the air tomorrow morning with the Nielsen Show. Tommy, what time do you guys get rolling tomorrow?
6 p.m., right? We're back to a normal 7 o'clock start. Yeah. So 6 p.m. we go with the pregame show. Looking forward to that. As always, Cass had his daughter jump out of her crib and try to body slam her other daughter or throw a flying elbow.
That's unbelievable.
And, we had to cut Game Changer short last night. Everybody's okay though. That was hilarious.
That's with my two, Marshall's very safe. And doesn't. And Elizabeth is the one who would jump. It's the younger one, man. Same with my sister. She would have done the exact same thing. She was a psycho. So, I understand. The younger ones, they're troublemakers. All right, there you go. That's another episode of the Oil Stream brought to you by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen, now open in St. Albert, home of the very famous Popeye's chicken sandwich. We will be back with another episode later in the week. Tommy, enjoy the rest of your day, buddy, and I'll talk to you on Friday, man.
Sounds good, Dusty. Looking forward to it.